you is how Central Asia region is unique. How do you explain that?
Yeah, Central Asia is unique in a number of different ways. First of all, it stretches from Caspian Sea to China, from Russia to Iran. And one of the unique things which I felt, that the people who are not in Central Asia, or who don't belong to Central Asia, when they look at Central Asia, they think that it is a homogeneous group of people who are living in these countries. But once you are inside Central Asia, you realize that each country has its own culture, each country has its own traditions. The people are very much different from each other. So I think that the uniqueness and beauty of Central Asian countries is that they look similar, but they are not similar. If we talk about the generalization, I would say that majority of the people, they belong to the Turkic ethnic groups, and politically speaking, we identify them as post-Soviet people, or post-Soviet countries, means they got their independence from Soviet Union in 1991, and in 1993 they established as an independent countries. So there are 5 Central Asian countries: Kyrgyzstan, Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan, Tajikistan, and Turkmenistan. And Afghanistan, some people identify Afghanistan, which is of course very famous, as a Central Asian country and as a South Asian country. So Afghanistan is usually not included by academicians into Central Asia. So when we talk about Central Asia, usually we talk about these 5 countries which I mentioned.
Yes, great. It's very interesting. And it's really very few people know about that. But we have another question, Ammar, doctor. We have been talking about law. Every time now is talking about technology law and also tech law, legal tech. Sometimes get a little bit confused. And I would like you explain for us what's technology law and what's the difference between tech law and legal tech, please.
Yes, it is a wonderful question, and I am very much in line with you that many people, they are confused about legal tech and tech law, or when we talk about technology law, they think that it is just intellectual property law or IT law, or the cyber laws nowadays. But the technology law is broader, in broader perspective, anything which has some elements of digitalization, or anything which is related to technology, it is the subject matter of technology law. If we have to differentiate between technology law, which is tech law, and legal tech, we can say that the legal tech is when we use technology for making the job of lawyers easier. I mean, there are different software available, there are different chatbots, different instruments, technological instruments are there in the markets, which lawyers use to make their job easier. For example, you might have seen that previously you had to go to the libraries to find a case law, but now there are different softwares available. You just put keywords, and they search this for you. And many leading law firms, on their websites, they have these different legal chatbots. You can write your question, and this chatbot can give you a primarily answer. So all of these things, they are legal tech. When we talk about technology law or tech law, it's mean that how we can use law to regulate technology, because there are the positive impact of technology, there is negative impact of technology, and to reduce the negative impact of technology, we need law. So how the law facilitates the technology when it comes into public space, I think this is the technology law.
Excellent. Well, really, sometimes now it's very, very, very clear. Thank you very much. Now in Brazil, Amar, we have a law named LGBT, that talks about the protection of data. And now everything now is forbidden. cannot take photographs, cannot take films, cannot take this and this and this. Everything now is forbidden. And that we are starting now with this new law. And for us, is a kind of adaptation and need to understand. But now you explain very, very well about these two questions. That's for me now it's clear. For me now it's clear. And in Central Asia, tell me how the technology is influencing Central Asia society, principally, please.
Yes. So when it comes to the influence of technology, I mean, technology is influencing everyone. It is not a question of a specific region, but for the ease of conceptualizing that what's going on, we academician usually, look through the prism of different parameters. Unfortunately, in Central Asia, there are not many empirical studies available which can talk about the digital dividend. Digital dividend means how much technology is influencing on the lives of the people. There are not many, empirical studies available, but when we observe, we can see that the number of people, they have transformed their lifestyles based on the technologies. The uniqueness of Central Asia is that majority of the Central Asian countries, the people were nomadic people. I mean, they used to live on the mountains in their temporary houses, and they would travel from one place to another to find their to graze their cattle and to find their livelihood. So for this kind of society, the technology has played a very important role. I mean, it has been revolutionized, and people seem very much dependent on technology. Previously, we couldn't see this like 20 years ago, but in recent 5 or 10 years, a lot many new initiatives have been taken by the government is taking interest in introducing more and more technological instruments with their people. For example, new laws are being introduced related to electronic commerce, and e-commerce has become the part of everyone's life, including the Central Asian people. Also, the government has invested a lot in teaching of young children. I mean, some countries like Uzbekistan and Kazakhstan and Kyrgyzstan, they have started teaching coding from the schools. Government is investing a lot of money in the university educational programs to teach technologies. So I think that the technology has impacted Central Asian life on every level, from individual, from group, from to state level, or even at regional level. We can see that the technological revolution is emerging from Central Asia.
Great. Just recently, I've heard some people talking about, and I haven't heard a lot about that. People say that technology is good, but sometimes technology is a little bit bad. Sometimes technology is a bad example for family or society. Is that true? That technology has two faces, the bad face and the good face. Is that true?
This is very much relative to the person. I mean, individuals have their own approach towards this. If I may say that the people of your generation, they usually think that technology is not very good because it is distincting the younger generation from them, and I definitely can feel what they mean. But legally speaking, I think that there are uh, positive and negative impacts of technology, and this is the purpose of law, to regulate. For example, in Central Asia recently we had lot many discussions when the security cameras were installed in different countries. Almost all the Central Asian countries, they have imported these security cameras from China. Now these security cameras, they are installed everywhere in the cities, and they are very sophisticated, that you are walking on the street and the camera can recognize who you are.
Yes.
Now these cameras have been imported from China, And many people, they have reservations that these Chinese or other people who are actually manufacturing these cameras, they are spying on us. So there is a question that you want security on the cost of your privacy. Means you can secure your countries, you can secure your streets, but you have to compromise on your privacy. So it is your choice. You need your privacy or you need your security. And the question arises that these technological innovations or these imported technologies, they are in general, they are beneficial for the society. So I think that different people have different perspective. I personally, I am more for the security.
Well, I guess I feel the same, and so do I. I believe that security is much more important than that. But sometimes our privacy life sometimes very important. But here in Brazil, we have many cameras, the security cameras that just talking about and like to watch. It's very good for security, I guess. But now the question is about arbitration. Arbitration
Yes.
around all around the world. Arbitration is wherever we are having any contracts, smart contracts, everything. We have the clause, the arbitration clause. And my question is, what's the background of arbitration? Background of arbitration in Central Asia, Ammar, please.
In terms of arbitration, I would say that the Central Asia is lucky because the history of arbitration goes back to certain centuries, because arbitration was the part of the nomadic society. If there is a conflict, people used to come together and they will do a kind of mediation, conciliation and negotiation. So they had an ease in adopting the institutionalized or formal arbitration. And when we talk about formal arbitration, it also has a history of at least 100 years, because when the Soviet Union time, the arbitration was a formal institution. And after the collapse of Soviet Union, when these countries, they got their independent or separate states, they just adopted the previous legal system, which also included the arbitration as a formal institution. So in all of these Central Asian countries, like 5 of these Central Asian countries, arbitration is an established formal institution. And
Wow.
a lot many new private initiatives are being taken by enthusiastic people like me and you. And many private arbitration institutions have been opened who are providing international arbitration. So if we talk about the overall scenario, overview of arbitration in Central Asia, I would say that it is in the upper middle range. If we have to categorize that, if I have to compare it with my country, Pakistan, the institution of arbitration is much better in Central Asia. And historically, it has been, the people have been trained to work with this sort of institution.
Oh, excellent. Very good. Very good. And or another question is the arbitration. Is arbitration in Central Asia cost effective? Another question is, do international enterprises prefer Central Asia arbitration centers? Or about the competition among arbitration institutes? Because we have 3 questions here, okay? About the effective of cost of arbitration in Central Asia, about the international enterprise, if they prefer Central Asian arbitration centers, and the competition among these arbitration institutes. How does it perform, please?
So this is a very good question. And I think that when it comes to the cost effectiveness, definitely it is cost effective, because it is usually considered a positive sign for an for an scintillation arbitration to have arbitration among two international parties, because the institution of private arbitration is just emerging in Central Asia. So the arbitration institutions, they are working on corporation model. I mean, the arbitration institutions of Kyrgyzstan, Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan, they are collaborating with each other. If we talk about the quality of arbitration, all of these countries except Turkmenistan, they are the signatory of New York Convention, and all of these countries, they try to incorporate UNCTRAL's rule when it comes to the arbitration rules, and I think that this give them an edge, that international companies should prefer scintillation arbitration institutions. But at present, we don't see that many international institutions preferring scintillation arbitration institutions, because they think that the scintillation arbitration institutions, they lack in I would say experience. But the trend is emerging because of the cost effectiveness. The scintillation arbitration institutions, they have quality arbitrators, and they are very much happy to provide arbitration to the international parties on comparatively cheaper rates. But if we talk about the international companies, they prefer, I say that at present they don't prefer, but they are thinking. My observation is that in future, Central Asia will be a hub of arbitration in Asia, as nowadays we have Singapore, Hong Kong, or China. Sorry, I can't hear you. Your
Seu
your
microfone,
microphone.
professor, tá.
Okay, now it's good to know. Good to
Yes.
know that, because that's why our partnership is also for that, to spread, to prepare professional with the high quality to work in the international scenery of arbitration, mediation, and negotiation. It's a great opportunity for us, and certainly we are going to do a very good job. I believe that.
Yes.
Well, but yes.
Yes, I was thinking that I will definitely share this video with the different arbitration institutions in Central Asia, and will ask them to start joining hands with the arbitration institutions in the South Americas, especially with our arbitration institution, because you have definitely a long history of training people in alternate dispute resolution, and this is something which Central Asia needs right now. That there is a desire to come forward and take a lead into the arbitration, but when it comes to the preparation of human resource who can contribute to take a lead in the arbitration, there is very less institutions who are actually doing this, and for this purpose we need to import experience of other countries, including the Ibramac, that is one of the leading trainers in South Americas.
Here we are. Thank you. Thank you. And we're very happy too, because you are part of this family Ibramac. Great. Well,
Yes.
in all conversation we had and all discussion we have to talk about this virus, COVID-19. COVID is really something very terrible for us. But post-COVID world and arbitration in Central Asia, how is it going to be? How COVID has affected case management of arbitration institutes in Central Asia?
So when it comes to the COVID-19, definitely we are passing through a turbulent period. And Central Asian institutions, in the beginning of this COVID-19 pandemic, they realized that it is not something which will end in next 2 or 3 months. They have to, uh, how to say, they have to compromise with the situation. And I have observed that since the beginning of this pandemic, many arbitration institutions, they started developing their digital infrastructure. I mean, previously also arbitration institutions, they were providing online arbitration, or there were different mechanism of alternate dispute resolutions where you can file a complaint, or the case management was being done uh, through internet. But since this pandemic has arisen, many arbitration institutions, they have become serious in developing their digital infrastructure. And many arbitration institutions now, they are working on 100% online basis. I mean, from the handling of the case to the delivery of the verdict, or even previously we had the mechanism of observation of how the arbitration award is being enforced. I mean, many arbitration institutions, they usually keep a record that how their arbitral award is being enforced. This was being done digitally, but now I can see that from A to Z, different arbitration institutions, they are dealing these arbitration cases purely on internet. So I think that this is a very good development. And it is not the question of COVID-19, I would say. It is the question of our future, that it has become very difficult for companies to physically participate in arbitration proceedings. So no matter there is COVID-19 or we are living in normal days, it was the future that we had to adopt this digital infrastructure. And I can see that many arbitration institutions have converted to this online system.
That's true. We need a very good structure to work with operation, this operation online, this new future that we are living here. I used to say that we do not have a present. We have past or future. John Lennon used to say, when we are thinking about the future, that's the moment we are living the life. John Lennon said that. When you are talking about the future, that's the moment we are living the real life. So present today does not exist. What exists is yesterday and tomorrow, because today we are talking about tomorrow. That is it. Great. Um, Technology. We start talking about technology right now and how the disputes related to technology are being dealt by arbitration institutes in Central Asia. How they are cut with that, please.
Yes. So there are a number of initiatives have been taken by the formal arbitration institutions and the private arbitration institutions. The technology itself as a subject matter of the arbitration is not, how to say, I mean, this is not something which technology institution want to do in Central Asia when it comes to the arbitration. If there is a technology institution, its technology business, its first preference is to have China or Singapore or Hong Kong or any European arbitral institution, because they are much more proficient, they have more experience to handle these kind of issues. But nowadays we can see that the individual arbitration institutions from Central Asia, they are working very seriously on their capacity building. I mean, they are trying their best to train their infrastructure on institutional level when it comes to deal with the technology. And I was talking with the director of Tashkent International Arbitration Court, and she told me that they have developed a separate technology regulation with the collaboration of Silicon Valley Arbitration and Mediation Center. Recently, we have seen that in Kyrgyzstan, many arbitration institutions, they have organized in collaboration of the Bishkek International Court of Arbitration, Mining and Commerce. They had organized a legal week with the theme of technology. I mean, the stakeholders were governmental institutions, private enterprises, academia, and arbitration institutions. And the theme of this legal week was technology. And also, the Kazakhstan is the biggest country among all of these Central Asian countries. They are very much focused on technology law and regulations.
Really?
In 2000, yes, in 2018, uh, the president itself took a personal interest in establishment of Astana International Arbitration Center, which is Astana International Financial Center. And under this Astana International Financial Center, they have made an arbitration institution, and they have a separate institution to deal with the fintech, financial technologies. So I mean, the at governmental level, at state level, the state is interested in development of institutional capacity of the individual institutions when it comes to the technology. And when we talk about the private arbitration institutions, I gave the example from Kyrgyzstan and Uzbekistan. The institutions, they are also striving to show the international community that they also have experienced in managing the cases related to technology, and they are serious, and in future you can have your confidence and trust when you need to mention an arbitration institution. You can with full confidence mention any institution from Central Asia.
It's great. Wow, that's true. And we are talking all of to everybody. We are really these programs for around the world, for all over the world. And I believe that there are many people interested and to know what's the key investment or what's the key investment areas for international investors in Central Asia, Ammar. What's the key, please?
So let me put it in this way, that international investors, including investors from South America and Brazil, because uh, through the channel of Ibramac, definitely we are going to attract Brazilian and South American and Latin American investors to start their, to spread their tentacles on Central Asia as well. So
Of course.
traditionally, if we talk about which areas are famous for investment in Central Asia, they were the mining and natural resources. I mean, Central Asian countries, they are rich when it comes to the natural resources, oil and gas. Like Kazakhstan was importing these natural resources for a quite period of time, and now they have slowly turned their focus on other areas as well. So when we talk about the traditional investment areas, they were mining and natural resources. Then there is another good investment dimension, which is the real estate. So the Chinese and the Turkish investors, they have been traditionally investing in real estate in Central Asia. But if we talk about the COVID and the post-COVID world, and people are now not only dealing in goods but in services also. They are looking for the good human resources. So I would say that education is going to be a key investment area in future in Central Asia. And technology, we are talking about technology, definitely there is potential, and the potential investors are also very much focused on this region, because this region is absorbing technology. This region is absorbing education, I mean, which is our area of investment, in which we, like with Abramac, are going to invest in this area. And the other area is technology. That technology is something which Central Asia is absorbing. So education and technology are the key areas in which we need to attract investors from outside of the Central Asia. And then there are many traditional, areas like the people are demographically young in Central Asia, so you can find good labor for the service industry, and the people are enthusiastic, so you can import them if you need the human resource in your own country. So this is also a key investment area.
Wow, very well explained. Thank you so much. So that's the key to investment in the Central Asia. Thank you. Well, now we are about to finish our last question, Dr. Ramar. And my last question is how cooperation between Central Asia and South America can be enhanced. How? Can you explain to us, give us the open the doors, please?
So I would divide this question into two portions.
Okay.
And the first portion I will answer, and the second portion I expect you to answer.
Okay.
So the first portion, so the first portion is that in the beginning of our 2 days interview, I mentioned that there is a need to decrease, first of all, the communication gap between different regions, including Central Asia and South America. People don't know in Central Asia, sorry to say, about the South Asia, even though the South Asia is geographically very close as compared to the South
Yeah.
America. In Central Asia, people don't know much about the South Asian region. Similarly, in South Asian region, people don't know much about the South Americas. So I think that if we zoom out, a global picture is that in this 21st century, especially in the post-COVID world, because the COVID-19 has demonstrated that we should rely on each other, and it is the demand of this 21st century and the post-COVID world that we should decrease the communication gap between different countries, between different regions, and between different people.
Yeah, I
So
get so.
this is my take on this. Now I am very much interested, since you are much more senior and experienced, and you have observed what has happened in previous couple of decades. I need your input as well, that how you think that the collaboration can be enhanced.
Well, first of all, the collaboration is what we are doing here right now. We are talking to the world. We are talking to the people how the things work, how the things work in each country, in each area. Because as you told before, really there is a gap. There is a gap, and the people, many people here in South America, they don't know anything about Central Asia. They don't know anything because what we know is too short in relation to what we need to know. And first of all, I think we have this understanding. I believe that the main door is to have people as you, Dr. Mar, that come to us and explain to us what is real Central Asia. I think that's the first step. And the second step is we have to make a roundtable and to reach and to search people, investors that they are interested in spread, interested in to know what Central Asia has to offer. And I believe, as you told before, we have I believe that Central Asia has a lot of to offer as well as South America. So I guess that is my point of view, that they too have great, we too have great opportunities to grow and grow up step by step. Okay,
Yes.
Dr. Amar, think, well, what's up? Well, we are about midnight.
Yes.
Amar, I was very, very happy. I'm very, very happy.
It was my pleasure to join and to be your the guest in this program. And definitely in future we will continue our collaboration between the region, on the regional level, on the institutional level, and on the personal level as well. And I can see that in future, since the youngsters like me and some of my students and colleagues, when I discuss with them that we have started collaboration with Ibramac in Brazil, they were very much interested, because this can be the first contact of many of the Central Asians with South America. I
Yes.
mean, they have a desire to approach, but they don't know through which channel. So we, both parties, can act as a bridge when it comes to this thing which we were talking, decreasing the gap between people. And definitely we will try our best to decrease this gap between Central Asian community and the South American community.
Oh, yes, you're right. Thank you, Amar. Thank you. Thank you very much for being here with us. Thank you for taking part in and we can talk about this kind of things, talking about operation, technology. We are very, very happy to have you here. You are a very enthusiastic young boy. That's what like people really believes people who wants to make some things different in the world. That's what you are expecting, and that's what we need. And always we finish our program, Dr. Ammar, with a song. This song was made by myself. I'm a musician. I like to play. I like to play the guitar, play the piano, play the sax. I like to play, and I like music. Because I believe that music can reach our souls. That's what I say. And we're going to finish our program with a song. The title is Let's Make Peace. Now I'm going to translate into Português. Bem, pessoal, chegamos ao fim aí com essa palestra maravilhosa com o Dr. Ammar. Essa palestra vai estar toda traduzida em língua portuguesa com a closed caption para vocês, para vocês entenderem em língua portuguesa o que ele falou. Grandes oportunidades. E o Ibramac está aí, atravessando fronteira. O Ibramac está agora na Ásia Central. Agradeço mais uma vez a professora Maria Augusta, a professora Katarina, com as suas últimas palavras finais, podem se despedir.
Quero agradecer também, né, esse momento de muito aprendizado. O Ibramac aí atravessando fronteiras, né, cada vez mais se expandindo na questão internacional. Minha gratidão também ao nosso convidado aí por aceitar esse momento aqui conosco. E estamos já desde já aguardando aí a sua visita aqui na Câmara Ibramac, aqui no Brasil.
Ok. Professora Katarina?
Também agradeço a participação dele, de estar enriquecendo, né, e de estar colaborando com a família Ibramac, com os nossos mediadores e árbitros, para que a gente possa estar aprendendo mais sobre esses novos modelos, essa nova forma e esses novos países, de como funcionam, e isso vai enriquecer muito os nossos árbitros, os nossos mediadores, e a nós também. E nós só agradecemos a sua presença e aguardamos uma nova oportunidade.
Que bom, e deixar bem claro para os nossos espectadores, telespectadores, árbitros e mediadores, como é importante você ser mediador local, ter uma formação local, mas ter uma certificação internacional é muito importante, tanto para o mediador como para o árbitro, uma certificação internacional. E aqui no Ibramac, nós temos a certificação de consultor internacional em mediação ou arbitragem. Não é isso, professores? Gente, então, now let's finish our program with the song Let's Make Peace. Wait a moment and let's go.
Vamos ver o sol brilhar para todo mundo. Vamos ver o mar acalmando corações. E pasear, dialogando, pasear com alegria, pasear com empatia. Vamos celebrar a cada dia que vivemos e ter gratidão por tudo que recebemos. Vamos ajudar a todos que precisam, e as crianças cuidar, são o futuro das nações. E pasear, escutando, pasear, estendendo a mão, pasear, um abraço amigo. Vamos espalhar essa corrente do bem e compartilhar o amor entre as nações. Vamos perdoar quem precisa de perdão insulto, ingratidão. E basear, dialogando, basear com alegria, basear com empatia. E basear, escutando, basear, estendendo a mão, basear, um abraço amigo. Vamos passear, vamos passear, vamos passear.
Okay, Miss Dr. Ammar, thank you very much. Thank you. God bless you.
Thank you very much. Take care.
I hope to see you again.